All right, so we're coming up on 2 years since my family has decided to call this Pensacola Metro our home. So now I say we are a little bit more locals than we were outsiders when we were first discovering this Pensacola Metro area. This channel was started because we want to help those of you who are planning on relocating in the Pensacola Metro area from an area of expertise, something that we personally have gone through. Listen, if we're talking about, experience in real estate, I've got that. I've got over 10 plus years helping out so many people in real estate, being a licensed realtor. But what about those of you who really want to know what you're going to be going through and what areas might really suit you? It's a lot better than, trying to find some agent on Zillow or anything like that. So let me start this video out by sharing you our journey, and I'm going to kind of segue into some stuff that we learned, and then towards the end of the video, I'm going to go into some local insights that you might want to know if you do plan on calling the Pensacola Metro your new home. All right, so let's talk about this journey. Initially, our journey started back in 2020, and we were originally looking in like the Tampa Bay area. That's where we had purchased our first property. COVID was happening. We're like, we just want to get the heck out of Colorado. And so we were kind of looking in the Tampa area. And this is a 3-year process that we were looking at where we want to live within Florida. Back in Colorado, we were experiencing things, especially being parents, that we did not like. A lot of woke stuff that was coming into the state, higher taxes, a bunch of stuff that we just didn't want to be involved with. It seemed like I was a 5th generation Colorado native, and I did not like what I was seeing and how the state was changing. I wanted to go somewhere where I could raise my kids with better values. I wanted to go somewhere that was a lot more community, that I was all right with allowing my kids to go to the park down the street and not constantly have to worry about them. We could not do that anymore where we were coming from, and we could not stand the fact that we were now outsiders as both Christians and then also a little bit more conservative mindset. The problem that I did find when I was looking more into this Tampa area is a lot of the things that I was pushing against that we were seeing in Denver was kind of happening in the Tampa area. Now, that wasn't as extreme, but we were still seeing some things that I didn't want to expose my kids to. And so we started looking a little bit further. We started looking at like kind of Sarasota, Northport area. Same thing. It's just there was some problems there that it was light of what we were currently experiencing within Denver. Then we found out about the Panhandle, and then more so the Pensacola Metro area. Started looking into the schools, started looking into the community. It all started with us purchasing an investment property here, a short-term rental. And after spending a week here, we were like, this is where we want to be. This is the community that we want to be a part of. And then the cherry on top was just the fact that we were so close to some of the best beaches within the United States. And how smooth was that move? The move actually wasn't that bad. I think the rockiest part about it all was telling our family, like I said, when you're a 5th generation to Colorado and pretty much none of your relatives have moved outside of the state, they took quite the hit. So telling them, hey guys, guess what? We're uprooting our family and we're moving outside of Colorado. That's probably the rockiest part. Outside of that, it really wasn't that bad. We already established our house here. We had purchased 2 properties, one of them that we did decide to live in, and the transition was pretty smooth for the most part. We just rented up a U-Haul, got a trailer, moved all of our stuff out here. We actually got rid of a lot of our stuff back in Colorado because we did downsize a little bit, moving within this area, mainly because we knew we were going to be at the beach all the time. We didn't need this bigger house. We're back in Colorado, we're inside pretty much 5 to 6 months out of the year, depending on how extreme the winter was. Overall though, the move was pretty smooth. It just took our mindsets, that paradigm shift of saying this is happening, we are going to do this, and then taking the leap and doing it. And since doing it, I can tell you our confidence level that we will not be leaving, that we will be staying in this area is 100%. We could even go higher than that if there was a possibility to go more than 100%. We are not leaving. We get asked all the time from our relatives back in Colorado when we are coming back, and we said it's not happening, guys. In fact, we're selling our house in Colorado this summer because we are dead set on the fact that we love the area that we are in currently, and we do not want to leave. We have found home for both ourselves and our kids. Now, since moving here, I feel like once you get outside of that honeymoon phase of relocating into a dream vacation spot, I guess you could say, you do learn some lessons. And so what are those lessons? Some of the lessons that we did learn relocating into this Pensacola Metro area, and we kind of heard this a little bit when we first moved here, is that this Pensacola Metro area is a little bit more like Alabama than it is Florida. And what I mean by that is like the sense of community and like the southern hospitality that you do feel here is much different. So much so that when we do visit our Clearwater property, we see a huge difference in the amount of community and that southern hospitality that we do experience in this Pensacola Metro area.
Hi-dily-ho, neighborinos.
And it is amazing, and the sense of community that you do feel being in this area, it cannot be beat. I was always worried about being in a small community because of the gossip, right? Everyone talking about this person or that person or what happened to this person last week and whatever it might be. I never want to be involved with that. I was always raised as a big city boy where I just kind of wanted my own privacy, doing what I'm doing. And I feel like that we do have a lot of our privacy here, but still having that sense of community when it comes to our kids' sports, when it comes to local activities. We experience that sense of community, and it has been fantastic. I have loved it. The second lesson that we did learn is, even though Pensacola has some of the best beaches in the United States, tourism isn't that big of a deal. I know a lot of people are a little concerned about it. Hey, I'm going to be moving into a tourist area with their mindset being more like Destin and such. It is not. In fact, if you look at like the top 10 like beaches that tourists go to within Florida, Pensacola usually doesn't even make the top 10. I was looking at, like, I think, U.S. News and World Report. It doesn't even make the top 10. The majority of the tourists that we do experience here in the Pensacola metro area are coming from your surrounding states and or cities. So we're talking like people coming from Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. It just really isn't that bad, and we haven't experienced it too much. And it hasn't been one of those things that's really kind of gotten us down that we live in a huge tourist area. You do not feel it as much as you would think somewhere more like Fort Walton and Destin. You heavily feel it over there. In fact, we avoid those areas quite a bit because we don't want to be involved in that huge tourist, the crowds and all the craziness that comes with that tourism. Another lesson that we learned here is everyone is concerned about Florida. It feels like Florida goes hand in hand with hurricanes. And this is actually, I was talking to someone about this last week, and we had a golf cart Mardi Gras parade. It was awesome, but I was talking to someone who was actually moving here from Colorado. They said the same thing, like, you know what, I'm going to be here 50% of the time, 50% back in Colorado because I am concerned about those hurricanes. And this one guy actually pulled up this app. It was a super cool app just talking about how Santa Rosa County and Escambia County are actually pretty mild when we're talking about major hurricanes directly affecting this area. So I looked it up even further and looked at the data. So major hurricanes, this is according to hurricanecity.com. A major hurricane hits this area once every 15.3 years on average. In fact, there have only been 8 major hurricanes that have hit Pensacola since 1975. And that's something that I didn't, like I said, moving to Florida, I was like, well, I mean, we just got to get used to hurricanes. It is what it is, like every couple of years or whatever it might be. Now, of course, you know, we still might experience a tropical storm or a minor hurricane. The last hurricane, I think it was 2021 or 2020. I think the best part about it too, because we had wildfires and also tornadoes back where I came from, there's no notice usually when it comes to a tornado. Here you have plenty of time. So anytime we see a development of a hurricane happening within the Gulf, I mean, you have tons of time to kind of prepare yourself. People aren't really running around or anything like that. You know, you can put your hurricane shutters on, and it's almost like a slow process. You're like, all right, where's it going? Which way is it going? And so with like the last couple hurricanes that happened last year, I mean, yeah, we were prepared, but we had plenty of time to prepare. We have not personally experienced a hurricane here. In fact, our property in Clearwater experienced a hurricane last year. Where we're at right now, we have not experienced one yet. Another lesson that we did learn kind of moving into this Pensacola metro area is we knew that it did get cooler here during the wintertime or fall or spring seasons, right? We didn't realize it got as cool as it does, but we personally, we don't mind that. We got way more from the snow and like the fact that we were inside 5 to 6 months out of the year because of how cold it was, how frigid it was with all the snow. And we just had a historical snowstorm here. A lot of people are saying that we brought it coming from Colorado, but that was historic, guys. Believe me, that was a record set since the 1800s that we got that snow. That does not typically happen here, but it does get cooler here. It's good though. Like, we are just getting back up into the 70s, and we appreciate the fact that we do have this fluctuation in temperatures, that we're not just consistently like summer and then mild summer like you may experience more South Florida. We like that fluctuation in temperature. That way you can break out, you know, my wife's all about fall clothes, and so she break out her fall clothes. She can actually, you know, wear those, and then you can just get a little bit of a break from the summertime, and then summertime comes around and we can just focus on enjoying the beaches, knowing that come like October time, it'll start to cool down once again. Another lesson that we did learn, because we purchased 2 properties here. We ended up picking up the property that had a pool in it because we wanted a pool. We wanted our kids to be able to take advantage of the pool. And the pool is great, but there's one lesson. Relocating into this area that you must know, and it's that everyone's got a pool to go to. In our pool, we're probably in it about the least amount of time because we're always getting invited to someone else's pool parties or to come over to the house to have a pool. And so I personally, like, not having a pool wouldn't be that huge of a deal. Don't tell my wife I said that because she loves the fact that we have a pool. I'm just saying that when you are here, it's not necessarily a priority if you want a pool to have a pool. As long as you make those connections with the community and you have those friends, you are going to find a pool to go to. Now I'm going to break into some insider tips, some stuff that you most likely will not know unless you've talked to us or you've actually lived in this area. And I'm going to bring out some tips on both kind of like home characteristics or help you figure out like what area you actually do want to purchase a home in. And there's like major factors when we are talking to you guys who are relocating into the area that you are looking for when you are looking at purchasing a house here in the Pensacola metro area. Actually, if you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the Pensacola metro, we are your top relocation team. In fact, 100% of the people that I do help purchase real estate in this Pensacola metro area are relocating here. I don't even work with locals, guys, because I have a passion helping you guys out. So if you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the Emerald Coast, give us a call or text at that phone number right below it there. We always answer. It doesn't matter day or time, but if you're not quite ready to purchase, just want to educate yourself on the area, do yourself a favor and smash that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up and notification bell. That way you're notified every single time we put out a brand new video. All right, so if you are coming into this Pensacola metro area looking to purchase something new or newer, you are most likely going to stick to the north side. Now, I will say that if we're talking about like Gulf Breeze, Navarre area, yes, you can find a couple houses that are a couple years old, but the majority of your newer houses are going to be up in Pace, are going to be up in Milton, up in Beulah, Cantonment, these areas. I actually just did a quick search in the MLS, just pretty much any houses that were sold that were built, you know, pretty much newer than 2024. And here's the numbers that popped up. So in Pace, 534 homes have been sold that are 2024 or newer. Milton, 892. Cantonment, 470. This is where the majority of your newer houses are going to be in these areas, and all of these are located in the northern Pensacola metro area. I pulled kind of the Gulf Breeze, Navarre area. Gulf Breeze houses that are 2024 newer, you're looking at 104. Navarre, you're looking at 87. So you see those numbers don't come anywhere near that North Pensacola metro area. Another thing you look for is where you want to buy into like the up and coming areas. Where is that equity growth? I just did a video on Gulf Breeze showing that January numbers comparing 2024 to 2025 equity gains. The houses are selling, that median sales price is up 25%. So Gulf Breeze is definitely one of those areas that you might want to get into looking for those equity gains. But some insider, I guess you could say, where I think that there might be some huge equity gains, East Hill. And the reason I say this is my experience kind of being back in Denver. You see these older portions of these outskirts of these downtown areas, and you start to see those trends that happen to make these areas really blow up. Back in Denver, it was like the Highlands area, Rhino, Wash Park, all these different areas, and you saw these characteristics like, holy crap, this area is about to blow up. And I do see that with East Hill, just east of downtown Pensacola. Another area that I actually just did a full tour of is Beulah. Beulah is blowing up. This is going to be it's a different reason though, where you have that Navy Federal, that huge center that was just built right there, and Beulah is going to be blowing up like crazy. Anyone that I've talked to in the area says the same thing, that Beulah is going to be awesome when it does continue to build. And then another area that's kind of down, because we know that Pace has been blowing up. They've been doing a lot of development, and it has been happening. But Milton is going to be getting there here real soon. So if you want to purchase somewhere that is going to experience some huge equity gains, personally, I think Milton is going to be one of those top spots. And then one last spot, I already mentioned Gulf Breeze, but there's this midway portion, which it's like, okay, so it's the postal code is Gulf Breeze. When you do write out the address, it does say Gulf Breeze to it, but it's like in between like Gulf Breeze and then also Navarre. They are putting a brand new high school over there, Soundside High School, and you know when they're putting in a brand new high school, they're trying to relieve Navarre High School a little bit because it is getting pretty crowded over there, the high school. But when you see something like that, you know that they are planning for development. So I think the Midway area, even like Soundside, if you want to get some newer products, the Soundside on the south side of 98, some great newer products in there. You have some newer products on the north side, kind of near the high school to the west a little bit. But this might be another area if you want those huge equity gains check out this, or kind of keep an eye on this Midway area as well. All right, some another insider tips. This one's outside of the real estate a little bit. So if you are relocating here, and I'm not going to blast this out there because we have our beaches that we don't want them to get too crazy crowded, is find a beach off the beaten path. And it might not be as far as you think, because the beach that we like to enjoy, that we like to go to, although it's not your main Pensacola beach right there, it's not very far away from it. In fact, when we're sitting on our beach with not too many people on it, we look down and it's just like past a certain point, you see it super crowded. So find your beach if you are relocating here. That way you aren't having to deal with those tourists trying to figure out like the best spots to kind of put your blanket down on the beach. Another thing too, and then this just depends on where you're coming from, you do want to make sure that you are doing pest control. The good thing is, since we do have so much pest control in the area, that it's pretty reasonable. I want to say that we pay something like $75 every couple months, or maybe every 3 months. I can't remember, but it's right around those lines. It's really super reasonable, and it is well worth it for mainly like those cockroaches, termites, or anything like that. They have different packages depending on what you're going for, but pest control is well worth the money. I highly recommend doing it. Don't sit here and think that it's an expense that you could just kind of push off. All right, here's another insider tip that it might rub a few of you the wrong way, but avoid, if you have a family, avoid Pensacola Beach on Memorial Day weekend. There's a festival there that is not going to be kid friendly, so you want to make sure. In fact, there's so many of us who kind of travel outside of the area during Memorial Day weekend, so that's a little insider trip that we didn't know about. We were just like, what's going on with all the lights and the beats and all the music that's happening across the way? I'm just saying, it's not a very family friendly area during Memorial Day weekend. And then the final thing, that insider tip that I am going to give you, is boat clubs. We actually were looking at doing a boat, purchasing a boat when coming to this area to take advantage of the waterway, to be able to go out and do some fishing and all the great things. And honestly, you're best with a boat club. If you are not super set on owning a boat, on maintaining a boat and all that stuff, then get into a boat club. It is super reasonable. I think it's a couple $1,000s down. I want to say like $4,000 or $5,000 down. And then they have a monthly fee. It is well worth it being able to hop on the boat and then hop off, not having to clean it, not having to maintain it, and all those great things. A boat club is well worth it, and I highly recommend it. But hey, maybe if you do want to maintain your own boat and store it and do all the things that come with having a boat, that is 100% up to you, because I know some people just want to have their own thing, and that's great. It's just some people would rather have less maintenance, less cleaning of any boats, or having to worry about any breakdowns or nothing like that. All right, cool guys, thank you so much for hanging out and watching this video. If you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the Emerald Coast, Pensacola metro area, give us a call or text at that phone number right below. Right there, we always answer. It doesn't matter day or time, but if you're not quite ready to purchase, make sure you follow along by smashing that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, notification bell, that way you're notified every single time we put out a brand new video. Till next time, we love ya.